Well, hey there, CEOs. Welcome back to the Early Childhood Business Made Easy podcast. I am Kelly Peak. I am your host, and I'm excited to help you find more of that time, freedom, and profit that you so deserve, my friend. Now, when it gets to the last day of the month, do you ever find yourself staring at your bank account, maybe wondering, how is there so little left? You made good money this month. Enrollment was strong. You had a few party bookings that were great, but somehow you're not sure if you can comfortably make payroll next week. You know you should be tracking this stuff. You know you should have a budget, but every time you think about sitting down with your finances, well, does your stomach knot up? Spreadsheets, categories, formulas. I get it. It can feel so complicated and time consuming. So oftentimes you just don't. You check your bank balance, pay the bills as they come in, and then hope it all works out. And this is probably leaving you exhausted from the constant low-grade anxiety about money, never quite sure if you're profitable, never confident about making big decisions, always wondering if you're one unexpected expense away from disaster. Now, here's what I've learned the hard way over the past 30 years of operating and leading early childhood businesses. That financial stress, it is not because you're bad with money. It's because you're trying to use budgeting systems designed for completely different business models. Traditional budgeting advice, well, it assumes predictable revenue, fixed costs, and simple expense categories. And as we all know, none of that applies to ratio dependent, heavy licensing logistics, the businesses like ours that fluctuate enrollment, party bookings, seasonal revenue swings, all just to name a few. Now, in the beginning, I created detailed budgets. I was an Excel spreadsheet pro. I tracked every penny. I built complex forecasting models. But here's why they didn't work. They didn't work for any of my early childhood businesses. I just did not have the time to become an accountant. And guess what, my friend? Neither do you. You need a simple strategic system that gives you clarity in under 2 hours once a month, not a part-time job managing spreadsheets. The programs operating with financial confidence and healthy profit margins, they're not spending hours on big, complicated budgets. They're using simplified processes. They track what matters, forecast what's coming in, and then they have clarity to make confident decisions. And today, I'm going to break down 3 strategies to give you that same budget clarity. Number 1, implement your monthly money date. This is a 2-hour process that's going to become your financial command center. Number 2, use the CEO Cashflow Planner. You're going to track 4 key metrics that actually matter for early childhood businesses. And number 3, make strategic adjustments. I want you to turn that data into decisions that improve profit and cash flow. Now, you don't need a finance degree to operate a profitable early childhood business. You need a simplified monthly process designed for ratio-dependent operations who are heavy on licensing regulations. When you implement the monthly money date, this system with the CEO Cashflow Planner, you are going to replace that financial anxiety with data-driven confidence. You're going to do that in under 2 hours each month, my friend. Let me show you exactly what happens when you don't have a handle on your finances. So last year, I worked with a 40-child preschool CEO. She was making over $30,000 a month in revenue. Now, on paper, she should have been very profitable. But every month, it felt like a scramble. She'd pay bills as they came in, move money between accounts to cover shortfalls, and constantly stress about whether she had enough for payroll. When we finally sat down and we looked at her numbers, her actual numbers, not her bank balance, but her real financial picture, well, we discovered a few things. She had been operating at a loss for 8 months straight. 8 months. She had no idea. Now, her enrollment, it was strong. Her tuition rates, they were competitive, but her expenses had slowly crept up without her noticing. Payroll was running at 67% of revenue instead of a healthy 50 to 60%. Her supply costs, they had nearly doubled because she was buying whatever she needed without tracking spending, and the curriculum she was using was very expensive. She was hemorrhaging about $2,000 per month, eating through her cash reserves. Now, when we calculated the damage, 8 months of losses, depleted reserves, missed opportunities to adjust course, that lack of budget clarity, well, we figured it was costing her over $16,000, money that could have been profit. money that could have funded growth, money that could have been her compensation. Now, it didn't have to be complicated to fix, and it wasn't. We implemented the monthly money date process. She committed to just 2 hours the first Friday of each month. Within 6 months, she course corrected completely. She adjusted her payroll structure. She implemented simple spending control. She was able to see the things that she was spending on that she shouldn't have been, and she started forecasting instead of reacting. Now, 6 months later, she had $12,000 in reserves, and she was constantly and consistently hitting 15% profit margins. Now, not because she became a financial expert, but because she started paying attention with a system designed for her early childhood business. After implementing the CEO Cashflow Planner and the monthly money date system, her financial anxiety, well, it disappeared. Not because her business got easier, but because she finally had visibility. She stopped avoiding her finances and started making strategic decisions based on data instead of gut feelings. Now, research from the Small Business Administration, it shows that businesses with regular financial revenues are 30% more likely to be profitable, and they're 40% less likely to experience cash flow crises. But here's what makes this critical for our early childhood businesses. Your revenue is locked into enrollment contracts, whether that's parties, dance classes, preschool. You have contracts. That means you just can't sell more to fix your cash flow problems. You have to manage what you have with precision. You don't always have additional spots. Sometimes you might, but if you have a classroom with 20 kiddos and you're full, you can't add more. So CEOs who understand this, they don't wait for year in review finance processing. They build monthly rhythms that prevent problems before they become crises. Now, this all begins with strategy number 1. And strategy number 1 is implement your monthly money date. This is your 2-hour financial command center. Now, most early childhood directors, they look at their finances reactively. When a bill is due, maybe when payroll is coming up, when something feels wrong. That's manager thinking, putting out fires instead of preventing them. And it creates constant stress because you're always wondering if you have enough and never knowing where you actually stand. CEOs, they schedule a non-negotiable monthly money date, a dedicated 2-hour block where they review what happened. They understand where they are and they plan what's next. Now, this isn't about perfection. It's about consistency and visibility. This connects directly to the cash flow management profit booster for those of you in our Shine mentorship program. It's in the Preschool Business Blueprint course, module number 6. When you gain financial clarity through regular review, you confidently invest in the other profit boosters, hiring better team members, improving marketing, and optimizing services. Everything compounds when your finances aren't a mystery. You cannot afford to wait until year end to discover you weren't profitable. Your margins are thin, your costs are ratio dependent, and your enrollment fluctuates. That can impact everything. You need monthly visibility, not annual surprises. Otherwise, you're going to fly blind and hope you land safely. So here's how I want you to implement your monthly money date. Action step number 1, schedule it as a reoccurring, non-negotiable appointment in your calendar. Pick the same time every month. For example, maybe it's a finance Friday, the first Friday after month end, but you can choose any time that works. Maybe it's a Sunday for you. Maybe you like to be at home on the weekend. Maybe it's a Monday. Whatever it is, choose it. The key is consistency. Block 2 to 3 hours of uninterrupted time and put it on your calendar just like you would a doctor's appointment. This is not optional. This is taking care of your business's health. Now, I have a great resources I created to help you with this. Again, it's that CEO Cashflow Planner. I want you to go download it at kellypeak.com, where you're going to find information about today's podcast episode number 173. This is your roadmap for the money date. It walks you through exactly what to review, what to track, and what decisions to make based on the data. Now, during your monthly money date, you're going to review 3 things. What came in, your expected income, what went out, your anticipated expenses, and what's left. That's your net cash flow. You're going to compare your planned numbers to your actual numbers. You're going to identify any surprises or patterns, and you're going to forecast the next 30 to 60 days so you are prepared, not panicked. Now, for a small 25-child preschool, for example, this might take 60 to 90 minutes once you have a rhythm. For a larger program with 80 plus kids or multiple locations, you're going to probably need a full 2 hours. But either way, it's a fixed investment of time that's going to give you complete clarity. So make this enjoyable. I mean that. I'm serious about that. Make this something where maybe you get your favorite cup of coffee or tea, go to your favorite coffee shop, maybe the library, wherever you feel that this is going to be something you're going to enjoy doing. Put on music you love. Treat it like a self-care routine for your business. When you remove the shame and the anxiety around finances and replace it with calm curiosity, wow, the whole process, my friend, it's going to become something you actually look forward to instead of dreading it. Action step number 2. Okay, this is a big one. I want you to protect this time fiercely. You are going to be so tempted to skip it. You'll have emergencies that are going to feel more urgent. You're going to convince yourself that you already know your numbers, so you don't need to check. Do not fall for any of that. The monthly money date is what separates CEOs who lead with confidence from directors who constantly stress about money. Now, block it in your calendar right now for the next 6 months. Set reminders 3 days before. Tell your team this time is sacred. And whatever happens during those 2 hours, it's an investment that pays dividends in clarity, confidence, and profit. And that, my friend, is going to lead us on to strategy number 2. You're going to use the CEO Cashflow Planner, and you're going to track the 4 metrics that actually matter when it comes to your finances. So you've committed to your monthly money date. That's great. But often the next problem that most directors don't really understand and don't often prioritize is what to actually track. Many of them look at their bank balance and assume that that's enough. Or maybe you get overwhelmed trying to track every single penny. Now, both approaches are going to fail for an early childhood business. You need to track just enough to have clarity, but not so much that it becomes a part-time job. So you need the right metrics, the ones that actually tell you whether your business is healthy, and you need to track them consistently. So generic budgeting categories, those just don't work. Retail business budgets won't tell you if your payroll is healthy for a ratio-dependent operation. And restaurant cash flow models, well, those don't account for enrollment-based revenue. You need metrics designed specifically for early childhood business economics. So here's what you track using the CEO Cashflow Planner. You're going to monitor 4 key performance indicators as percentages of your total revenue. Number 1, this is the most important and probably the easiest, your payroll. Your payroll should be 50 to 60%. Number 2 is your facilities. This is going to be your rent, your water, your gas, your electricity, anything around the building and what you need to operate. And that should be at about 15 to 20%. Number 3, your programming. This is going to be your consumables, your classroom supplies, your food if you provide snack, etc. That's going to be around 5 to 10%. And finally, your profit. Now, your profit should be at 10 to 30%. If you're a one smaller location, it's going to be closer to 10. If you have multiple locations, it should be closer to the 30%. Now, these ranges are specific to early childhood businesses operating with healthy margins. So let me show you exactly how this works with real numbers. Say you have a 45 child preschool generating about $50,000 a month in revenue. A healthy payroll would be about $25,000 to $30,000. Healthy facilities would be $7,500 to $10,000, and healthy programming costs would be $2,500 to $5,000, and a healthy profit would be $5,000 to $15,000. Now, again, this is all going to vary. Some of those categories might be more or less for a specific reason. But if your payroll is running at $35,000, that's 70% of revenue, you know you have a problem. Your margins are squeezed and you probably don't have enough left over for profit. The cash flow planner is going to flag that for you. It's going to do it immediately so you can address it before it becomes a crisis. Now, you're going to forecast your expected income for the next month based on current enrollment, planned events, and historical patterns. Now, this isn't guessing. This is educated projection based on your data. So you're tracking your tuition, your grants, your enrichment classes, your parties, camps, products, fundraising, any other revenue sources. And you write down what you expect to come in. Then at the end of the month, you compare that to actually what happened. Now, this is where the magic happens. When you see the patterns, like maybe parties consistently bringing in more than you projected, or enrichment programs trending down, and then you could make a strategic adjustment. Maybe you invest more in party marketing. Maybe you revamp your enrichment offerings. You're making decisions based on the data, not on assumptions or what you think parents want. Action step number 2, categorize your expenses strategically. So your cash flow planner, it breaks down expenses into those categories that matter for EC businesses. Your payroll, again, wages, benefits, taxes, training. Your facilities, rent, utilities, maintenances, services. Your operations, your admin costs, your insurance, software, etc. Your programming, which is your food, supplies, field trips, etc. Now, operations, some of those costs can fit into all of them. For example, your admin costs may go into your payroll. Your insurance may go into your facilities. Software may go into programming. So again, I want you to simplify it and keep it as easy as possible. But this is really going to depend on the size of your business. If you're a larger program with multiple locations, you do want to track more specific things to ensure that nothing creeps up. But if you're a smaller program, you can kind of combine them more. Now, don't just dump everything into expenses. Take some time during your monthly money date to categorize properly. You do this once, then you don't have to do it again. This is going to reveal to you whether you're spending on what matters or maybe bleeding money on things that don't move the needle in your business forward. So for example, this has happened to me before, and it's happened to me several times over the 20 years I have been owning and operating my preschools and play cafes. Now, when I started categorizing properly, I discovered we were spending $800 a month on software subscriptions we barely used, $800. We also had a storage unit that was $600 a month. So I decided it was time we had to get rid of those, because when I saw my categories, I saw that they were up higher than they needed to be. So I canceled, for example, 3 subscriptions, and I reinvested that money into team training. And then I made sure to get rid of everything in that storage unit, and I reinvested that money. So that saved me almost $10,000 annually that I was able to redirect from waste into value. And like I said, I do this every single month, even after 20 years. Now, yes, I know exactly what I'm spending money on, but I still go back, and on my monthly money date, I go through my credit card expenses to make sure nothing odd is there. Maybe someone on my team bought something inappropriate. Maybe they spent more than I would like them to spend on something. And then it becomes a training moment, because my team does have the credit card. They are allowed to buy. They know what the expectations are. But every once in a while, they might choose something that is not the correct amount. So again, I analyze everything to make sure that it's either something I need to change, maybe I need to educate my team on, or maybe everything is fine. But that gives me that clarity and peace of mind to know that. Now, be sure to grab that CEO Cashflow Planner at kellypeak.com, episode 173. It has the exact categories and percentage benchmarks you need for healthy early childhood business finance. Okay, and that brings us to our final strategy, number 3, make strategic adjustments. Turn that data into decisions that improve profit. So here's the final piece that most people miss. You might track your numbers, you see that data, and then have you ever done nothing with the information you just learned? You cannot treat budgeting like a report card instead of a strategic tool. That's manager thinking, passively observing instead of actively leading. The entire point of tracking your finances is to make better decisions. Now, the numbers aren't just information. They are intelligence that tells you where to invest, where to cut, and where to optimize. And when you use your cash flow planner strategically, you transform from a reactive manager to a proactive leader. Now, here's what generic business advice gets wrong when it comes to early childhood businesses. They tell you to just increase revenue or decrease expenses without really understanding those constraints that you operate under. You can't just add more kids. You're limited by ratios and physical space. You can't just slash payroll. You need qualified team members to maintain licensing requirements. Your levers are different, which means your adjustments have to be strategic, not simplistic. And here's how you make strategic adjustments based on your monthly money date and the data you find from that. Action step number 1, I want you to review your cash flow status. Was the month positive or negative? If positive, you celebrate and you make allocation decisions. And we'll get to that in a minute. But if negative, you identify exactly what caused the shortfall and you create a specific plan to correct it next month. Now, let me show you what that looks like practically. Say your payroll percentage, for example, was creeping up to 63%. Well, the healthy range, as we know, is more like 50 to 60%. So you're not going to panic. You're just going to look at why. Did you have unexpected overtime? Did your enrollment dip while your payroll stayed fixed? Did you hire someone new and maybe they spent too much time training? Or maybe you have team members that are staying longer than they should. Maybe it's taking them longer than what you expect them to close out a classroom or end a birthday party. Each cause has a different solution. If it's overtime, look at your scheduling efficiency. If your enrollment is dropping, but your team members are still staying the same, maybe try checking your forecasting and maybe more conservatively and adjusting those team ratios. If it's a new hire situation and they're spending more time than they should be, ensure that your team understands the time that they should be spending on training. You're being strategic, not reactive. Now you're going to set 1 to 3 specific priorities for next month based on what your data revealed. These aren't vague goals like make more money. These are concrete actions like promote enrichment programs to 10 new families to add $2,000 in monthly revenue, or audit team hours to reduce overtime from $1,200 to under $500 or to none at all. Or maybe save 10% of monthly profit to build an emergency fund of $10,000. Now write these down in your cash flow planner. You want your action plan to really state what you hope to gain. Assign yourself accountability. When you come back to next month's money date, you'll review whether you hit these priorities and adjust accordingly. This is how you continuously improve instead of staying stuck in the same patterns. And action step number 2, and this one is critical. It's a strategic profit allocation when you have positive cash flow. Now, you need to remember, my friend, you're not just celebrating that you have money left over. You are intentionally deciding where it goes based on your business needs and your personal goals. Now, the cash flow planner is going to walk you through 5 allocation priorities. Emergency fund, you should have a 4 to 6 month emergency fund for expenses on reserve. Debt reduction, that's first. You need to pay down any high interest debt first. That's a priority. Maybe growth investment. This could be facility upgrades, marketing, new programs. Team investment, maybe 401k contributions, bonuses, or even just gift cards to thank them. And finally, owner compensation, your well-deserved payout. Here's the bottom line. You have to pay yourself first. You must pay yourself first. Before you reinvest everything back into your business, before you pay off your debt, before you buy new furniture, transfer a percentage to your personal account. This is not selfish. It is smart business leadership. You deserve compensation for the value you create. And if you do not pay yourself, you are not going to be doing this for very long. So again, some months it may be minimal, but as you grow, as you get better at this, it will grow as well. So for example, for my business at Play Boutique, I implemented a rule. 15% of the monthly profit goes to owner distribution. No exceptions. Now, in the beginning, some months it was 0. There were some months I was paying money into that. Then eventually it grew to $3,000, but it's non-negotiable because operating a business that doesn't compensate you, that is not sustainable and that is not success. You are not going to be in it for the long haul. We are now celebrating our 20th year in our preschool and play cafes. And we would not be here if I was not able to pay myself. How could I justify working all those hours for all of those years if I wasn't able to pay myself? So yes, in the beginning, I get it. It's tough. There were many years I didn't pay myself, but you can't stay in that mindset. You have to get out of that mindset and find a way to get yourself paid. Even if you start with $100 a month, even if you start with $500 a month, you have to have that mindset. And it is a muscle. Just like any other muscle, you are building your CEO muscle. Now, this is exactly what we teach in Module 6 of the Preschool Business Blueprint. So for those of you that are in our program, you can go there and learn how to complete your complete CEO dashboard and cash flow system if you're wanting to dive more into the details. It's going to give you that financial clarity and confidence. It's the full course, and it includes the 90-day forecasting tools, the KPI tracking systems, and those strategic decision frameworks. My friend, it's time to bring this all together. Today, we've moved from financial anxiety and avoidance to complete clarity and confidence. When you implement your monthly money date as a non-negotiable 2-hour process and you use the CEO Cashflow Planner to track the 4 metrics that matter and make strategic adjustments based on your data, you are not just managing your finances, you're fundamentally shifting from a director reacting to money stress to a CEO leading with financial clarity. This is how you build a business that generates consistent profit while supporting your time freedom lifestyle. My friend, it is time for your manifestation minute. So just imagine this 3 months from now. It's the first Friday of the month. You sit down with your favorite coffee, you open your cash flow planner, and you spend 90 minutes reviewing your numbers. No anxiety, no avoidance, just calm clarity. You see that your payroll is right at 55%, your profit margin hit 18%, you're on track to build $15,000 in emergency reserves by year end. You make 2 strategic decisions about next quarter. You transfer owner distribution to your personal account, and you close your laptop feeling confident and in control. That, my friend, is not a fantasy. That's what happens when you replace financial guesswork with systematic clarity. So here's what you're going to do next. You're going to go grab that CEO Cashflow Planner at kellypeak.com, episode number 173. It includes the monthly money date roadmap, the 4 key metrics tracker, the healthy percentage ranges for EC businesses, the cash flow forecasting template. The expenses are all on there. That strategic adjustment that you need to move forward. Then schedule your first monthly money date on your calendar. Do it today. Block 2 hours and protect it like your business depends on it, because it does. If you want the complete financial management system, including that 90-day CEO dashboard, the forecast for you for the next quarter, the simplified budget templates that every revenue and expense category are built in, the annual financial planning framework, module 6 of the Preschool Business Blueprint walks you through everything. And if you want hands-on support building your financial system specifically for your program, then the Shine CEO Mentorship Program, it gives you monthly financial clarity training plus live coaching with me and my team, where we can review your actual numbers and create a custom profit plan. You can learn more at kellypeak.com. Now, here's what I want you to remember. You do not need a finance degree to operate a profitable early childhood business. You don't need to become an accountant. You don't need a complicated system or expensive software. You need 2 hours per month and a simplified process designed for your ratio-dependent, enrollment-based, licensing-heavy business. The financial clarity you're craving isn't out of reach. It's 1 monthly money date away. And when you build this rhythm, reviewing, tracking, adjusting, you are gaining something priceless: the confidence to make decisions without second guessing, the ability to sleep soundly without money anxiety, and the freedom to actually enjoy the business you are leading. Don't need a finance degree. You need this 2-hour monthly process. Now go and schedule that monthly money date, and I will see you next week.